Let's jump right in. Imagine you're just making your morning coffee, and suddenly, bam, you feel this profound shift deep inside your mind. It's like a door swinging wide open that you didn't even know was there. Suddenly, every memory you've ever had becomes perfectly, impossibly clear. Every book you've read, every conversation, every random face you've ever passed on the street, it's all just perfectly organized and instantly accessible. It's as if a small, dim light bulb inside your head suddenly exploded into a blazing sun, with neural connections shooting outward in absolutely every direction.
And honestly, that memory recall, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Your senses would start sharpening to these impossible extremes. The colors in your room are suddenly so vivid they almost hurt. You're hearing ambient sounds separate into individual, perfectly distinct layers. I mean, imagine this reality. You can literally hear the electricity humming inside the walls of your house. You step outside and you can smell the rain coming from 50 kilometers away. So what's going on here? Well, in this thought experiment, you've just accessed 100% of your brain, and absolutely nothing in your world will ever be the same again.
Section 1. The 10% myth. Okay, let's dive right into this. Before we get completely carried away with this sci-fi scenario, we really need to talk about the actual science of our brains. You've almost certainly heard the myth, that pervasive idea that we humans only use 10% of our brain capacity. We always picture it like a simple pie chart, right? A tiny little 10% slice doing all the heavy lifting, while 90% just sits there completely dormant. Well, let's cross that right off the board. Modern brain scans show us a completely different story. It turns out we use virtually every part of our brain, and almost all of it is lit up and active almost all of the time.
You see, different regions handle different tasks. Memory, movement, emotion, language, vision, they're all working together at the exact same time, honestly operating like the most complex orchestra ever assembled. So, if we're already using our whole brain, what would true 100% simultaneous capacity actually mean? Well, let's look at how that builds into something completely mind-blowing.
Section 2. The intelligence explosion.
Firing every single neuron at maximum capacity simultaneously. That would trigger an absolute intelligence explosion. Your cognitive abilities would instantly expand way beyond anything ever recorded in human history. We're talking about the theoretical limits of biological computing being pushed to their absolute maximum. Problems that literally take our brightest scientists decades to unravel, you'd solve them in a matter of minutes. Just imagine looking at pages of incredibly complex physics equations, and the answers just magically reveal themselves before you even finish reading the problem.
To put that into perspective, under normal capacity, achieving fluency in a new language takes years of really dedicated practice. But at 100% capacity, you're learning that exact same language in mere hours. You could pick up a massive stack of books, absorb every single word instantly, and remember the whole shebang forever. It beautifully illustrates how the mind would effectively become the most powerful computer ever created, but one built entirely from biological tissue.
Section 3. Creativity unleashed. With that level of raw processing power, your creativity wouldn't just improve, it would completely explode. It's not just about cold, hard logic. It's about seeing bizarre, brilliant connections between ideas that literally no one else in the world could possibly see. Music, art, science, and philosophy would all merge in your mind into one unified understanding of reality. Imagine composing symphonies perfectly in your head, designing structurally flawless buildings without even picking up a pen, and writing a perfect novel in a single afternoon. Masterpieces generated instantly, simultaneously, from pure, clean thought. Section 4. Absolute physical control.
But here's the thing, it definitely wouldn't stop at the mind. Your body would change too. Scientists know the brain controls far more of our physical functions than we're ever consciously aware of. Right now, your body is basically on autopilot, but with full access, it's like a biological control panel suddenly opens up for you. You'd have conscious sliders and switches for your own biology. You could deliberately slow your heartbeat, consciously direct blood flow exactly where it's needed, completely turn down your pain receptors, and even instruct your immune system to heal you in ways that modern medicine simply can't explain.
And then, something even stranger starts happening. As your processing speed reaches maximum capacity, your perception of time itself would stretch out. Time would feel like it had almost completely stopped. Elite athletes get a tiny fraction of this, but at 100%, every single second would stretch into what feels like minutes. You'd have all the time in the world to calculate every possible outcome before making a single choice. Every conversation, every action, perfectly executed.
Section 5. The dark side. Now, this is where we need to slow down for a second. because here is where our incredible thought experiment crashes headfirst into harsh thermodynamic reality. This is where the story gets pretty dark. The human brain runs on approximately 20 watts of power. Now, despite running on less juice than a dim light bulb, it still consumes 20% of all the energy your body produces. It is unbelievably efficient, but it has hard physical limits.
If every neuron fired at maximum capacity simultaneously, the energy demand would be absolutely catastrophic. We can map out this terrifying biological sequence. First, your body just couldn't produce enough fuel to keep up. Second, billions of neurons firing at max capacity generates an enormous amount of unmanageable heat. It's like a thermometer inside your brain rising dangerously into the red. Without a way to vent that heat, those neural connections would begin overloading and sparking. Severe seizures would kick in, quickly followed by complete organ failure. In this extreme scenario, the very intelligence that makes you extraordinary would literally destroy you from the inside out.
Section 6. The emotional cost. But even if you could somehow survive the physical heat, what happens to human nature when absolute calculation strips away all uncertainty? When you can calculate every outcome, every single relationship becomes painfully transparent. You'd see exactly why people say what they say. You'd see every hidden motive, spot every tiny deception, and read every unspoken feeling. The mystery and surprise surrounding human connection would just vanish. What feels like a godlike gift at first would slowly turn into a lonely, emotional prison. You'd be left with a mind so powerful that it can no longer simply enjoy the experience of being human.
Which brings us to a really fascinating, deeper question in this explainer. Is intelligence alone actually enough for happiness? Or do we, as human beings, fundamentally need uncertainty? Don't we need to be surprised by the people we love? Don't we need the beautiful, unpredictable chaos of not knowing what comes next? Maybe the greatest wisdom isn't about knowing absolutely everything. Maybe being perfectly human actually means being beautifully incomplete.
Because right now, your brain is performing millions of incredibly complex operations every single second, and you aren't even trying. It's keeping your heart beating, your memories alive, and your dreams vivid. And it's doing all of this miraculous work on just 20 watts of power, less than a dim light bulb, running the most extraordinary computer in the known universe, sitting perfectly balanced right inside your head. If this explainer made you see your own mind a little differently, be sure to subscribe to the Voidnix. Because while we might not use 100% of our brains all at once, the universe sure has infinite mysteries left for us to explore.